Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Congratulations, you've reached that point in your life where you truly feel successful. You've hit that milestone, whatever it might be personally or professionally. And to the rest of the world, you have made it. But you're harboring some secret judgments. You're judging people who maybe haven't come as far, maybe people in your own circle, and you're looking at them in a different way. What's changed? Well, your success is overshadowing your judgment because you never dealt with your judgments. What are we talking about today? Well, it's all based on this book, Holy But Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment. When people have these judgments about us and maybe even about themselves, and they're not willing to look at it. Here to join me is someone who knows quite a bit about this area, about being judged, and someone who actually helps people, specifically women, overcome this. Let's welcome KATRINA Valente, who's joining us today from Dubai. Hello, KATRINA. Thank you for taking the time.
Well, thank you for having me, Dr. Jacalyn. Always a pleasure.
What did you think about my intro today, about when you see someone and they're very successful, and you might think, a person might think when a person gets to a certain point in their life that they're more about giving back. It's about philanthropy. It's about looking for the good in people, but it can be the exact opposite. What's your experience?
You know, I think if the truth be known, a lot of people don't like to see you winning. They don't like to see you successful because it shows them the imperfections within themselves and what they might not be doing or might not be achieving. But being in the aesthetic industry for 30 years, I could tell you physical attraction, the way you present yourself. I mean, there's a lot of judgment in that space.
And you really have seen quite a bit, because in your career, which since I've known you, which is, I don't know, 5 or 6 years now, you really have morphed and changed. And you've seen quite a bit by working with A-list celebrities. You've been to some of the finest resorts in the world. And yet everything isn't always as it seems. It doesn't matter if we have... The more that we have, that doesn't mean that we've dealt with whatever the issues are at the core. We might just be throwing money at it. Isn't that true?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've dealt with a lot of high net worth individuals, celebrities, royalty. And what I've observed is the richer you are, the more problems you have. I've never had anybody come to me that's balanced and stable in that arena. Trust me.
What's so interesting about that, I would agree with you in my own experience. On the other side, for people who are truly empathic and maybe their life's work is about giving back and helping others, I've worked with people, I've coached people from this capacity, from this background, and they also have issues around judgment, where judging themselves, they'll never be good enough, or they don't need anything in the monetary world, but yet that mindset is keeping them from being successful at the same time.
Totally. I mean, you know, there was one very, very famous family, and the daughter was heavily anorexic. I mean, she was emaciated. And on everybody looking on the outside didn't think this family has it all, how successful they are, how fortunate they are. And yet this girl was on her deathbed more than once. And you just, when you see it from the inside, you cannot envy these people, honestly. It's quite sad.
I agree with you. I was watching this documentary, which I may have mentioned before. It was about NFL football players. You know, here in the US, football is a big sport. And it followed several NFL football players throughout their career. And it showed where they came from in terms of maybe they were in high school and they got recruited, and they had no concept of what it was like to have money because they never had money. And they trusted people to invest the money, to manage the money, but they were really the same person from the beginning, that high school jock, that person who was really out of money. And then came all the money and all the success and all the publicity. And they never learned how to deal with having the money because they never had it. And so what happened, it was fascinating, was that people came to them from their family and friends and just took and took and took, and they gave and gave and gave because they felt like they owed it to them. And so they had so many judgments around, they really felt like they were more themselves back when they weren't anybody. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I watch these documentaries. I find them very fascinating. And the problem is when you grow up without any money, you always maintain that poverty mindset, unfortunately. And it's something that you have to be coached into when you come into a lot of money. That's when most people that win lots of money lose it very quickly because they don't know how to manage it. So it's something that's really overseen with all these professional sports people, because most of the time they do come from nothing. And to all of a sudden accumulate all this wealth, it's very overwhelming. And when you're not equipped to deal with it, then it's a rocky road ahead.
And of course, we don't wish that on anyone. I want to talk a little bit about our title, which is When Success Hides Judgment. And success means different things to different people. And I've shared this before. When I started in this industry, I had no experience. I was selling loyalty programs, recognition programs, national sales meetings. And people would say to me, who do you think you are? Do you think you're some kind of celebrity? And I'd be, no, I'm just me. I'm still me, but I'm doing something different. And then the questions were, well, how much money do you make? How much are you bringing in a year? And it's kind of like, wait, that's not success to me. What success looks like is how I feel about what I'm doing, how passionate I feel. I'm excited to be here with you. I just came from a meeting. I thought, I can't wait to get here with KATRINA and have this conversation. Why is it that you think, in your opinion and experience with working with all these wealthy people, why is it so much about the money?
Ooh. I think every human being aspires to being financially free, right? And money is at the crux of everybody's lives. We are controlled by it. And, you know, the majority of people don't have a lot of money. They live paycheck to paycheck. So I think that's why the celebrity status was put on a pedestal, because they are in the elite of the world. It's 1 or 2% of the world that are that wealthy. And, you know, it's something that others dream of having, you know, having everything that you want, anything that you want, money not being in the way of getting what you want, because money is transactional, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's actually just energy. You give something, you get something back. But we haven't been taught like this.
It's interesting also because we were talking earlier about people who are empathic. And I believe that you have empathic skills. I think I have a few, not as many as you probably, but people who are basically dedicated to this empathic ability and skill to bring something out in people, to share what it is, the messages that they've been receiving. And at the same time, we're talking about people who have super wealth. We just saw the Met Gala, and all the controversy about that. Yeah, it's fascinating to me. And so regardless of where you are in either one of those extremes or in the middle, there's always something about judgment that comes up, and it's typically judging ourselves. So whether or not we're wearing that dramatic outfit, gown, whatever it is at the Met Gala, or we're getting messages from the universe to pass to someone, we still have judgment about ourselves that we are not successful enough. It doesn't seem to matter how many messages you're getting and giving out to the world, or how much money, or how many gowns. We still have a judgment that we're not quite good enough.
Yeah, we compare ourselves constantly, right? You'll always find someone that's got more than you, or you perceive to be better than you, and someone that's got less than you. But, you know, I think if you stay in your own lane and just do you and don't look too much to either side of you, I think you'd get on a lot better in life. You know, we are judged within 3 seconds of meeting someone, and that is a subconscious thing. We all do it without exception. So we should be aware of that. And when you live in awareness, you can change things. And be kinder to yourself, and then you'll be kinder to others around you.
I have a real hard time with that. I am very kind to myself when it comes to business, because I'm really proud of myself, if I can say that. I'm proud of what I've created. But as a woman, I feel like I'm always falling short. And it comes back to the same age-old discussion. It's about my skin. It's about subcutaneous fat. It doesn't matter how much I work out. It doesn't matter. Like today, I don't know if it's 108 or 109 days without alcohol and sugar. Nothing seems to be changing. And that's the part I continue to judge myself. And I want to share this and have your opinion about it. Being from a generation, I'm 63, where there was a lot of focus on your physicality. And so it was flat stomach, you know, tight abs, whatever it might be. And now in the fitness world, I see it every day when I go to work out. I see women decades younger than I am with visible cellulite, visible fat, wearing midriff tops, wearing clothes that are really tight, and you can see the cellulite. And I say, you know what? God bless you. I wish I had the confidence. I'm wearing 2 shirts. Okay. What is it about that? Like, I'd rather be like that. Like, let it all hang out, and here's who I am. But I can't.
No, and I'm exactly the same. I'm very, very aware of aesthetics, and I've been in the industry for 30 years. I can't apologize for that. It's the way it is. And I always look my best. I always wear my makeup to the gym. I don't make any excuses for that, any apologies. I want to look my best at all times. But I think society is hard on women. You know, as you age, you become invisible. But, you know, we are here to say, no, that's not the case. We are still as youthful and vibrant as we were 10, 20 years ago. It's all about mindset at the end of the day. And I have to tell you, since I turned 60, I feel totally liberated. Whereas before, I'd be very conscious of my age. I wouldn't want to tell people my age. But now I just have to stand up and celebrate the fabulousness that I am at 60 years old.
I agree with you. Congratulations. That's how I feel at 63. We're here and people are not. There are people who passed away and they wish they could be here. So I am grateful every day. I give thanks. But I still have a problem letting go with these things. Now, I hate to even go there because I know we have people out there who are into feet, and I'm not judging. My feet don't look the same. I used to have a beautiful arch, and now it's like, what happened to my arch? Like, no one gave me the manuscript that said, by the way, we already know about menopause, right? We have that information. But all these other things like your skin, it's too much. And it's kind of like, well, where am I supposed to go now? Now, something I want to share with you, and I'd love to have any experiences you have with this. I've had conversations with men in the last few years, just an interview type style, about these types of things, about aesthetics. And most of the time, they don't even look or care. it's we women who are obsessed about it. They're like, am I attracted to you? Is there some kind of chemistry? And we're like, did you see this around my eye? Did you see this? They're like, I don't even see it. What is wrong with you?
You need, Dr. Jacalyn, you need to watch the Netflix show Age of Attraction.
I did see it. I saw it.
Okay, so look at all the older women with the younger men, and they didn't know their age, but men are attracted to energy. They're attracted to certain attributes of a woman. Yes, men are physical creatures for sure, but what we think they notice, men are not observant like women. And a man will love you for the way you make him feel.
That's right. That's the most important thing. That's how to keep a man, obviously. I don't have a lot of success at that, so that's another show. And when we actually come to love ourselves, to me, that is the epitome of success. But I just shared with you, as a business person, I love myself. But as a woman, I still feel like physically there's work to be done. But I don't know how much more I can give up in terms of what I'm eating. And I don't really think I can exercise anymore because I'm exhausted at the end of the day. So it really comes down to just embracing ourselves. So you shared you turned 60. You're happy as can be about that. Was that the turning point where you said, you know what, I'm not going to be nitpicking on these things about my body or how I come across. I'm just going to say, I love you as I am.
I mean, look, it's still difficult for me. I'm still very super critical of myself. But when I get others tell me how fabulous I look, and my friends are like, what is wrong with you? You look years younger than your age. And I still get hit on by much younger men. I think there comes a point where you have to give yourself a break and just be glad that you're alive, you're fit, you're healthy. I mean, touch wood, I've never had any major illnesses or anything. My whole life, I've been very well. And I look at women much younger than me, and they've got aches and pains here, there, and everywhere, gynecological problems, knee problems, back problems, whatever it is. So I think you've got to embrace the fabulousness that you are at some point, because today is the youngest you are ever going to be.
Woo, that is the truth, sister, right there. This is the youngest we're going to be. We have your banner up, and I want to kind of zone into this because helping burnt out women come back into their feminine energy. How do we know when we're burnt out? Do we just completely pass out? We just say, that's it, I can't do anymore. Or does it subtly start to creep up?
You get burnt out when nothing is a joy anymore. I mean, I'm sure you've been burnt out, and I know I've been burnt out. And the reason I made this course is because of my life experience. I mean, I lived like a man for 30 years and I had no idea I was doing it. It was the only way I knew how to live. I had no other man supporting me, no family supporting me. So when I came to the realization that actually when you're in the feminine power, which is the all receiving, where you're relaxing, having fun, not doing anything, using more of your creativity, this is where the abundance drops into your life because you make space for it. And the reason that I ran back to the Maldives 23 times was because it was the only place I could find my feminine energy. Because when I was there was nothing to do and nowhere to go. So I had to just be. And that was the point where I made the most money. And it was only last year that I realized this. And it's powerful to really tap into the true divine essence of your feminine, which is who you truly are.
Let's really drill down on something that you just mentioned. I've heard people say, I can't wait to get away. I just want to get away from everything and relax. And then they get wherever it is and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed because we take it with us wherever we go. But when you are alone, for example, or maybe with a partner, and the partner and you have an understanding, you spend a certain amount of time evaluating, you get to know yourself, and you realize, wow, I'm the same person I was here, but the sun's out and there are palm trees, or maybe you're skiing, whatever the case is. And those issues follow you wherever you go. But when you have the silence, when you have the time to actually do the work, that's when the change comes. And that's how you help people, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to want to make the change. But, you know, women nowadays work like a man. We were never supposed to work as hard as men. And that is the God's honest truth. And we've had it, you know, feminism came because the government realized they could tax us and get more money from us. That's where true feminism came. I've got information. I must bring it to you on another show about where true feminism really came from, and that had nothing to do with liberating women. Women did not want to go to work. They were forced into the workplace, and as a result, we've got women that are in war with men, and no man ever wanted to be with another man. And this is the way the world's going. This is why there's so many relationship issues these days, so many divorces, because women are taking the role of the man. And it was never meant to be like that. Genetically, we are not supposed to be working and behaving like men. Yes, be successful, but you can be successful in the feminine energy. And this is what women don't understand, and this is what I teach you how to do.
Katrina, are you saying that it is a power struggle between male and female? Or are you saying totally? Okay.
Totally. You know, men used to fight wars for women. Now women are in war with men. Where did it all go wrong? We have to ask ourselves that question. Do you need a man? No, you don't need a man. Do I need a man? No, I don't need a man, because we've become so self-sufficient. There is no place for a man, because a man's job is to provide and protect and to keep us safe. And if a man looks at you and thinks, what can I give this woman that she can't give herself? If the answer is nothing, he'll walk away. So we've made a cross for our own back.
I am laughing because what you said resonates. It's absolutely true. You and I are so independent and self-sufficient that there is no role. There's really nothing that a man can bring that we don't already have. But is that a bad thing? Are you feeling that you're missing something?
Yeah, I do feel I'm missing something. I'm tired of working hard, fending for myself all my life. I've been like this my whole life since I was 30. And I think a woman needs you. I think everybody came here to love and be loved. And I think you need the support of a man. And then, only then, can you really step into your true divine essence. It's very difficult to do it when you're on your own, because you have to pay your bills. And that is the masculine energy.
I'm going to have to give that a lot of thought, because I feel for me, and again, it's not about me, but just because I'm here, I've pretty much accepted the fact that this is the role that I'm in, because in order to change it requires so many things having to be adjusted, because like you said, I'm working day in and day out. There is no vacation. There is no weekend. There is no weeknight. I am working. If I'm not working, I'm working out or I'm sleeping. That's it. So there's no place for anyone.
But you've created your life like that.
I know, but I'm not upset about it. I think you're upset about it for me. I think you think there is more for me, but I've just accepted the fact I think this is what it is for me.
Look, I mean, I think women nowadays, I say female empowerment. What female empowerment? Female empowerment is done. We are already empowered. What women need to look at now is the true divine feminine energy that is intrinsically who you are. At the deepest part of your soul, it's how you were made by God. And it's great to be successful. I think every woman should make their own money, but there's a cutoff point, and we've all just taken it too far. We don't know how to be anything else other than the masculine energy, because that is your driving force. What we need to learn to do is step into the feminine. And, you know, people would ask me, I mean, the management in these resorts would say, Katrina, how are you earning so much money? And I would just say, I don't know. I'm not doing anything. And that's exactly what it was. I was not doing anything. I wasn't trying. I wasn't hustling. I was just enjoying my surroundings. And everything just dropped into my lap as if by magic. So what if I could take that and bring it into my world now? That's where the gold is. And I still struggle with it. Don't think I've got it all figured out. I don't. But I'm aware of it. And that's half the battle.
I am in complete agreement with what you shared. I know I am completely in my masculine energy. I mean, I don't even know where the feminine energy is anymore. I think that she checked out. But even when I'm working out, it's like, go, 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 go. It's like,
no,
there's
I mean,
no
you're really extreme, Jacalyn. You are extreme. But this is another reason why you're so successful, because you've given it 1,000%. But it's like, where is the time for Jacalyn? Where's the time for the woman in you to relax and recuperate and have some fun in life? Because we all need that balance. You can't keep going. You're not a machine. Something's going to break at some point. It's the law of averages. So you need to think about that and do more of what you love and try and delegate more.
Well, I think where I have a slight different perspective is I really feel like it's a gift that I get to be here. I mean, how hard is this?
I mean, I know you love it.
Yeah. I love what I'm doing, and I love working out, and I love hitting new things. I don't like subcutaneous fat. I don't like thin skin. But at the same point, I've said to myself many times, what is it you would do differently if you could? And I really can't think of anything. When I was taking care of my mother, she had dementia, and, you know, I took care of her. I was her full-time caregiver for 3.5 years. I was definitely in my feminine energy, but I felt like that feminine energy was arguing with masculine energy because I wanted to fix her. I wanted her to remember, and I was really mad at the disease, and it was kind of like, well, I can't fix this problem, right? And men love to do that masculine energy, and I couldn't fix it. But I was definitely in my feminine energy. But in that feminine energy, I'm going to share, I felt very vulnerable and I felt very weak because I couldn't change
the word. Yeah. And that's the word, because vulnerability is a word that could never come into my vocabulary. I would look at vulnerability as a weakness, but it's actually your superpower. Because when you're vulnerable, people empathize with you and they connect to you a lot easier when you are in your vulnerable state. And it's a gift.
Okay, so how vulnerable should we be, and for how long? Because there's also the mindset that when we are vulnerable, we are people pleasers. We are saying yes, and we get taken advantage of, and then we get angry, and then we set the boundary, and then the masculine energy comes in to save the day.
No, I think there's certain points in life, or when you're dealing with a relationship, that you can be vulnerable. Like for me, I would never ask for help. And, you know, I've been going through some tough times. I mean, there's been a war on here. Business has been very slow. For me to ask for help, it's very, very difficult. That is me being vulnerable. If I was to ask someone for help, that's me sharing my vulnerability. And generally people love it and they'll empathize with you. It's not a weakness at all. But I was like you for years. I would, vulnerability. No, that's just weak woman. And, you know, I'd look at all these feminine women and think, you're so weak. But then I became mesmerized by them because I would watch them operating with men, and men would just drop at their feet, because a man has to feel like he's saving you in some way, like he's of use to you in some way, like he wants to be that knight in shining armor. And I know it's such a cliche, but it's the truth. Ask any man and he'll tell you that. So I think, we have to look at that a little bit closer. But when you're on the treadmill all the time, 24/7, it's very difficult to look at that side of your personality.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what you're saying. Now, I do get 9 hours of sleep. So, but here's the thing. My grandmother on my mother's side, after her husband died, he died early. My grandmother was alone, and she had a very productive life. And by the way, walking on the treadmill in her 80s, watching the
Wow.
Phillies game on TV. And after my father died, my mother was alone, and she was very productive and she was very happy. So that's where I kind of struggle, because I see the value in having a partner. I see the value in being able to share something with someone. And at the same time, I feel like when I took care of my mother for those 3.5 years, I was completely taking care of my mother, and then I was working. That was it. I would work out in the house. Sometimes I couldn't even leave because I was afraid she was going to walk off. And when she passed away, I thought, well, this is my time to focus on my business and take it to the next level, because that's something I really wanted to do, because I was always working for other people. So couldn't the business be my man, if you know what I'm saying? Couldn't this be my partner that I get so much gratitude from?
It could be. I mean, everybody's different, but I think for somebody like you, it would have to be the right man, a man that lets you do you, that is there to support you in any way he can, that has got nothing to prove to the world, that is rich, has to be rich, and he supports you in some way. And men like that are very difficult to find, it seems, these days.
I am not going to argue with you on that one. So I want to look at the fact that when people are successful, okay, if we look at the people we see at the Met Gala, okay, I don't know any of them. I don't know if you know any of them, but we presume that they've reached a certain level of success. Does that mean they are now less judgmental because they're so grateful that they've attained this status, and they're going to spend X amount of time just focusing on giving back without having to be seen in the public doing so, or without having a building named after them? What are your thoughts?
No, I think it's even heightened even more. Definitely heightened. And the experiences that I've had, I mean, I was one year I was on one of the islands at Christmas, and Madonna was there. There was lots of people that had flown in on their private jets. There was one of the richest Russians in the world there with his bodyguard. And, I had the mothers coming to me with their daughters that were cutting their wrists and begging me to help them. And it was terrible. I mean, and the issues of the rich and famous are far worse than the normal person has on the street. But let me tell you, there is no difference between them and you. People are people. We all have our stuff to deal with. And I'm really proud to say this, that all through my career, I have never treated anybody different because of who they are. You come to me, you get treated the same, whether you're sweeping the streets or you're living in a palace. Because honestly, I've treated across the board. And I will say that I've never treated you differently because you've got money or you're famous, because people are truly people at the end of the day.
I think that definitely warrants repeating. And I did makeup on the side. I was a makeup artist, and I worked for years at one of the major department stores in the United States. And what I found was that I was treated very differently First of all, I was clocking in, right? You pick up a piece of paper, you clock in, and I put on a uniform. And at the time, I had my master's and my doctorate, and I was working in corporate, making six figures, but I just loved doing makeovers. I thought it was so neat when you got someone in the chair and you basically are part therapist, part creative artist. But I was absolutely treated differently because I was doing makeovers in a retail environment. And I'll never forget, this woman came in and she was kind of in a rush, I guess, and she kept signaling for me to pay attention to her. And when I went over to her and I was having a conversation, she said, "You're nothing but a dumb counter girl." And I looked at her and I took a deep breath and I said, "Just so you know, I appreciate your feedback. I happen to have a master's degree and a doctorate, and I'm doing this because I actually love it. I'm not doing it for the money. And even though you may have your feelings about people who work here, we're actually real people with real issues, with real feelings." And she just stormed off. And I thought, there are people like that all across the world.
Good for you.
Yeah, she was better than me. And so that's what I'm saying, that in this scenario that I just described, this woman thought because she was coming in and she was buying product, that she was better than the people who were selling the product.
Oh, and trust me, there's been a lot like that as well that I've treated, and they really have this superior, I'm better than you attitude. And I just have to laugh because that's the child in them talking. That's the insecure little boy or little girl. And so I know better, and yeah, you'll always get people like that. That's life. It's just how you deal with it that makes the difference.
Very true. One of my favorite things to do, obviously, is interview people, especially when I'm in an Uber or a Lyft. And I love to talk to the drivers. And many times people are only doing it part-time. They've got something else, but they want to get out of the house and they like to drive. They enjoy driving. And I've had people tell me stories that people get into their vehicle and they just start insulting them. "Oh, you're this and you're that. What do you know? You're just driving a car." And it's kind of like, why is it that we go to this level that for some reason we're getting into the vehicle and we're better than the person driving the vehicle? No, we're all the same.
We really are. We really are. And what gift you have, I don't have, and the gifts that I have, you might not have. And, we're all here to learn our lessons, to evolve, to become better, and to transcend from this life into a better life, because Earth is actually very, very low vibrational and very dense energy. So the people that have chosen to come here, they've got hard lessons to learn,
And Katrina, you have created this 12-week program. Who is it for?
It's for, I'm kind of targeting women like yourself that are burnt out, that are successful, that earn a lot of money, but they might not feel fulfilled in other areas of their life. And this is really working from the inside out to help you come back to your feminine, to help you bring back the radiance into your smile, to help you understand how to have better sexual relationships with your partner, how to dress properly to feel more feminine. There's 12 modules that go through many different things that a woman needs to know to be that true divine feminine energy. And I'm really excited to share this because it's really through my experience of life that I've come to actually create this course so that others younger than me won't make the same mistakes that I've made in my life.
And for those people who will be listening to this later when it becomes a podcast, you can actually go to Katrina's website, which is her name, Katrina Valente, KATRINA VALENTE.com. And then you can look for the Valente Method course. So when is this course starting? How does it work?
It's online if you're not in Dubai. It's once a week. There are 12 modules for the 12 weeks. So you do one module a week. There's a slide show, and I'm talking in a pre-recorded video in the corner, talking about each slide. And then there's a quite extensive workbook that you have to fill out. And then you'll meet me online at the end of the week, and we'll either do a coaching session or a clearing. And you get 12 of these to go with the 12 weeks. So by the time we're finished, you'll be totally transformed from the inside out.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And the investment is worth every dime, every penny, every ruby, every whatever the currency is, euro. Thank you again. So we are excited that you are actually coming back. You've been a team member over the years, and you are coming back with your own program. So we'll be making more announcements about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Always a pleasure.
All right, what would you like to leave our audience with today, Katrina?
I would just like to say that the next time you go to judge someone, stop, count to 5, and cancel, clear, delete that thought, because everything that you think about another is going to come back and hit you 10 times harder. So start with yourself, be kinder to yourself, be less judgmental to yourself, and then you'll find that you will judge others less, and the world will be a better place for it.
Absolutely beautiful way to close out today. Thank you for being here, and we will see you on another upcoming episode and on your own program, The Valente Method.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I love Katrina's message that she left us with. We're all capable of judgment. We all do it. But what if we were aware of it? What if we decided we were not going to do it? What if we decided to take a 6-second pause before we said anything? And also, let's extend it to what we're writing. Let's extend it to what we're putting out into the world. If you think about it, there may be people you're following who are stirring the pot. They are bringing up concepts. You're watching something maybe on mainstream news, and it might be very skewed. And you're not actually doing any research to determine, is it even true? I'm doing that all the time now. When I see something on social media, the first thing I say to myself is this actually true? Or did someone just forward it? And a lot of times that's the case, because we follow someone and we just decide to forward whatever it is. And then we're just as guilty as they are, because we are perpetuating information that isn't true. And the last thing I'd like to leave you with, imagine if you were kind and compassionate and empathetic to someone else, and in return, someone else was the same to you. We don't always have good days. Things come up, life is tough. And wouldn't it be nice if someone gave you grace so that you can give grace to someone else? So pay it forward. Thanks again for being here. If you'd like to learn more about judgment, I wrote this book specifically so that we can identify it. It's not blaming anyone. There are 100 statements in here that I wrote that are completely judgmental statements, and we use them on a regular basis. So it's just to bring awareness. You can go over to Amazon and you can find my book. It is there with the other 27 that I've written, all of which are to provide education. So thanks again for being here. We're going to close out and we'll be back with our next program. If you haven't done so yet, if you could kindly go to our YouTube channels. We have 2, USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. And if you could please subscribe to those channels, we'd really appreciate it, because we get real information from YouTube about who's watching. And of course, if you've done any research, which I've done extensive research, YouTube happens to be the most watched platform in the world out of all the platforms there are. So thanks again for being here. We'll be back shortly.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful: The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives, by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Hey you. Hey you. Psst. Yes, you. Watching this right now. Are you creating content
a blog, a podcast, a newsletter, going live on Instagram or TikTok, and still not seeing real visibility or growth? Here's why. Anyone can post, anyone can go live, but not everyone is positioned to be taken seriously. Right now, people are going to YouTube to search for experts, for answers, for credibility. So while you're putting in the work, someone else is being seen as the authority. Not because they know more, because they're positioned better. Now imagine this. Your own professionally produced TV show, marketed, distributed, optimized with SEO so people can actually find you. Not just seen, but searchable, discoverable, positioned. You're trained, you're coached, you're guided. No experience necessary, but you do have to be coachable, because this is about stepping into a higher level. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing it right. We've already built the platform, 2 YouTube channels, a global audience, a Silver Creator Award. So the question is, how much longer are you going to rely on temporary visibility when you could be building real authority? If you're ready to be seen differently, go to usaglobaltv.com and apply to host your own show. This is for individuals who are serious about investing in their visibility, their credibility, and their growth. If that's you, we're ready. USA Global TV and Radio, where your voice becomes your platform. Executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Videographer, Paul Garcia. Voiceover, Ed Vargas. All rights reserved. This production is the exclusive property of the USA Global TV and Radio and may not be reproduced, distributed, or used without written permission.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.